Hey home buyers, my name is Mike Easton, aka Mortgage Broker Mike, here at Movement Bank in South Carolina. And in this video, we're going to answer one of the most common questions that I get really multiple times a day here. And that question is, what documents do you need for a mortgage pre-approval? So we're going to cover everything in detail, step by step, and then I'll answer the question for you here. It's really easy. What documents do you need for a mortgage pre-approval? That question is, the answer is actually unique to everybody's loan. So mortgages are funny in the fact that, there's thousands and thousands of different scenarios that could really occur, really infinite scenarios. So every single mortgage is completely unique from all of the rest. So what we're going to cover is a lot of the most common documents that are needed on the upfront process. And of course, once the underwriters take a look at everything submitted with the loan, they always, maybe have additional questions or need extra clarification or something like that. But what we're going to cover here today is some tips and tricks that'll show you how to obtain the very most compliant documents, full and complete, totally satisfying documents that'll clear underwriters' conditions day in and day out. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get them and what they look like and where to find them and so on and so forth. So stay tuned and enjoy the video, and be sure to stay until the very end because I've got a really cool credit tip that I think almost everybody can benefit from. So thanks for watching, guys.
I got the signed OTP, and it's easy to see that mortgage broker Mike close deals for me. Now we're pre-qualified on a Sunday. Did that credit check and ain't nothing fun, nay. Found a home for them because they got to upgrade.
All right, home buyers, we are back in action. So at this point in your loan process, chances are you're probably at the point where you filled out the whole application. I've probably taken a look and ran your credit. And at this point, it's time to really start providing some documents for our underwriters to go ahead and take a look at. Or perhaps you're already in process with the loan and we've been approved with conditions by the underwriter, which is the great alternative to your loan getting suspended and on a fast track to denial in most cases when it is in suspense. So we need to provide these documents for underwriting. We want to get them in a compliant way that they can actually use and underwrite, not in a non-compliant way like a screenshot or maybe a picture message or a partial picture that you texted me of a half page of a tax return that's really 45 pages long. So I just want to show you guys exactly how to get everything super quick, fast and easy, compliant docs that we're going to need. And these are things that we pretty much need on pretty much every single loan. So it's incredibly relevant. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there with, what these documents are, what they look like, and so on and so forth. So here we go. We are going to dive right in. So I'm not sure, if you applied with me, chances are you probably have a little loan portal like this that's, been sending you emails and automatic reminders, say, hey, upload your pay stubs, upload your bank statements, so on and so forth. It's always best to try and avoid emailing documents of this caliber, tax returns, W-2s, social security cards, stuff like that. Not really stuff that you really want to have floating around in your Gmail box, in the event that like Gmail gets hacked or something like that. Which does happen from time to time, believe it or not. So, that's not stuff that we want floating around on the internet. So here we've got a secure loan portal. It's 256-bit encryption. It's developed by Blend, the leader in secure mortgage banking technology, and they're really, really great. So they've completed this really nice, smooth, easy to use loan application portal where you can upload everything securely and in a nice, neat little package just like this. So what I like to do first, before we get ready to upload all the docs, is, a lot of times you might have to collect some of this stuff from, the various places that it might live, on the interwebs, here in 2020. So, pretty much all of this stuff does exist, and it lives in, and exists in different places all over, different servers and clouds and on the internet websites. It's stored. It all exists somewhere. So it is accessible. You can get it. And here we go. I'm going to show you how. So I create this little folder on the desktop of your computer. Now, if you don't have a computer at home or you do everything on your cell phone for the most part, probably what's going to be best is to find a computer somehow, some way. Maybe it's the public library. Maybe it's a friend or something like that, where you go ahead and jump onto their computer, get access so that you can really just knock out all these documents all at once. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to just title this folder Loan Docs. All right, bada bing, bada boom. It's saved right there. So anything that we would save in PDF format or whatever, we just drop it right in that folder, and then you'll have it right there, and it'll be ready to go. So this pre-approval notice on here, that's just something that you e-sign. The credit authorization, just something that you e-sign. Real basic stuff. The tax transcripts, so we can verify with the IRS later on. Just e-sign those so that we can verify that you are who you say you are. You don't owe any, $90,000 tax liens or anything like that. A lot of that stuff gets verified on the back end. Government issued identification, super easy. Just snap a picture of your unexpired photo ID and upload it right in there. You might have to take a picture of it on your phone and then email it to yourself. Pull it from your email into the loan portal. Easy as you like, and it takes just a couple minutes. Account statements right here. This is a really cool feature right there. So if you click on that within this loan portal, you start the section right here, and depending on who you bank with, this is just a random application that was, we're not giving away anybody's information or anything like that. A lot of bank accounts right here, when you complete the loan application, it'll actually, when you get to this point, it'll prompt you to actually just sync and sign right in to your online banking, and it'll just pull the bank statements right in. So in a matter of seconds, you can upload your 2 months bank statements, all pages, just how we need them. Pay stubs right here, we pretty much always need at least 30 days most recent pay stubs. I'm going to show you on a pay stub provider on a separate screen here in just a minute how you can actually download those. We need 30 days pay stubs, and then if we have any kind of variable income at all, like maybe 1 week you earn $5,000, the next week you earn $3,000, the week after that you earn $6,000, and then the next week you're on vacation sometimes. Like, that's not really necessarily stable income. Or maybe if you work like commission, you're paid commission income, or if you paid bonus or overtime wages or something like that. We want to include those into your loan application and provide that into underwriting so that we can show them all of the proper income that you do make. And the way, if we're going to look at that, is by looking at the most recent 30 days pay stubs, as well as providing the year-end pay stub from the prior year. So right here, we're in 2020. If I'm sourcing somebody's bonus, overtime, or commission or other income, what I like to do is just go ahead and grab the final pay stub from the year 2019 that was issued. So it shows all of the year-to-date calculations, bonus, overtime, commission, sick pay, vacation, everything, all itemized out. And then again, we'll grab the one from the prior year before that. So we'll get the 2018 year-end pay stub so that we can average out the bonus, overtime, commission income and show that nice 2-year average that is needed for underwriting purposes, because we will take a look at that, and there's calculations that do occur to justify the portion, if not all of it, that we can be used, or in some cases, none of it can be used. So we do need to address that up front. And guys, it's really important that addressing these things head on before they get asked for by the underwriter allow them to just simply do the very best job on your behalf. So what I found in all of the mortgages that I've originated, which has been quite a few, all kinds of different unique scenarios, many shapes and sizes, good, bad, and ugly. What I found is that when we package this nice little loan submission package to the underwriter, we want to present that to them on a silver platter so that they're like, here we go, Mr. Underwriter. It's everything that you could possibly need right now to do a very thorough calculation, because underwriters are extremely thorough and detail-oriented. And really what it comes down to, guys, is like we're lending out, the institution, wherever the money's coming from, the mortgage funding, lending out hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars being lent out, and trusting that it's going to get paid back. So when that's the case, that's a lot of money right there. We want to make sure that all of the due diligence is done correctly, because when these loans close, actually, they get audited and stuff, later on in the life of the loan. So it doesn't just fund and then it's done. There's other people that do look at it, and then they package them together and they sell them off as performing investments on what's called the secondary market. So, not that really matters to you, but this is kind of why the backstory is why everything is the way that it is. So, and why we need everything exactly a very specific way every single time, or else we just can't do the loan. Sometimes it could be as simple as, the last page on a bank statement. It says this page intentionally left blank. If there are 11 pages on a bank statement, we need 11 of 11 pages all together in a single document. what we found is that a lot of times when the bank statements are not, fully delivered in a proper way, that's where a lot of times sometimes the fraudsters will try to, fabricate bank statements and falsify documents and put together these little mishmash, kind of things that are like, oh, sure, I've got money in the bank, I can pay for it, whatever. But it turns out to be a lie because they're committing fraud. Now, that's not the case most of the time, but there are a couple bad apples out there that have done that. Obviously, that's why these laws do exist. So, so that's a loan application portal right there. You simply just go boom, 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 step by step. Everything get completed right through there. If it's not complete, we're going to ask for it later, chances are most likely, and it will result in a delay in your mortgage loan process. Possibly you could miss your closing, possibly could end up in breach of contract because we never got these things. It's quite as simple as that. So let me take a look here at this Loans Made Easy checklist right here, and just dragging it over. Here's some of the other stuff that I'm going to show you step by step how to get: W-2s, bank statements, pay stub, tax returns, earnest money deposit, and bankruptcy and public records documents, and Social Security awards letter. So let's dive in. So that's the loan application portal right there. This is a payroll provider. So this is the one that we use. It's most companies, almost all companies really are issuing electronic, bank statements or no, electronic pay stubs, W-2s, and things of that nature. So you log into a payroll provider, something like this. Maybe it's UltiPro, maybe it's ADP, maybe it's Paychex Flex or something like that. Chances are you do probably have an account somehow, some way like this. If you don't know how to access it, contact whoever's in your HR or payroll department or your manager at your current employer, and make sure that they set you up with access to this so that you can go ahead and get it and log in. It's super, super simple. Click, 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 boom, boom, done. And so here we go. You could click on like the W-2 tab right here. A lot of times sometimes it might be buried in the menu somewhere, but there you go, 2 years W-2. We're pretty much always going to need 2 years W-2. So you click on that and you get it and you save it. You download it in PDF format and save it to that file folder that I showed you in the beginning. You save it right there, on to the next. Now, let's look. So you look at the, to get the pay stubs right there, you go to the pay history right there. And by the way, this is assuming that, perhaps the pay stubs right here, a lot of times you can actually just sign right in to the loan application portal and pull in the pay stubs right there. So it'll just pull them right through if you have your payroll provider login. So I could probably just log in right like this through the loan application portal, and boom, now we have the pay stubs. It's hooked right in. Probably hook in the W-2s as well. Super, super nice and easy. So we've got, this is online banking. It's my online banking. As you can see, I'm super loaded. Not just kidding. I don't really use this account, but there we go. It's just a checking account. You go right here, click statements, and my statements cannot be displayed at this time. I don't know what that's all about, but well, you can just click the statements right there, and usually you can just click on them and download them just like that in PDF format, save them to that file folder, or like I said before, you could probably just hook right in to here with your online banking. That way you don't have to print out the bank statements and scan them into a scanner, or put on your suit and tie and head on down to the local community bank to provide your documents straight to them and hand them a big stack of 3,000 pages of paperwork. Those days are sort of behind us at this point, where you're physically handling paper documents. Everything really happens digitally at this point, and it makes it a lot more seamless throughout the process. So bank statements right there. This is a tax return. So like I pulled this, it's public record from an old presidential candidate or something. I don't know who these guys are, but anyways, they were running for public office, and they published their tax return. So I figured here's a tax return I can show. This is a tax return. So a lot of people get confused. Oh, what's a tax return? What's a W-2? What's a pay stub? Well, this is a tax return. So when we talk about 1040 federal tax returns, we want the filed copy. So again, like I said before, these documents do exist somehow, some way. They live in some place, way, shape, or form. Whether you go to irs.gov and obtain them there, or you file through TurboTax, H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, somehow, some way. maybe Credit Karma. I actually file my taxes through Credit Karma. It's super nice. I highly recommend it. Super easy and completely free. And so we want to upload all pages, all schedules. And again, don't be taking pictures of these things with your cell phones and texting them to me. A lot of times they're 45 pages long or so. And we do need the whole entire thing, all pages, all schedules. Now, we don't need tax returns on every single loan file. We really only need them if there's a unique circumstance, maybe self-employment income, maybe rental income or something like that. So a lot of times I will go into the loan portal here and I'll actually delete the requirement for tax returns. So there those are. And then moving on down, Social Security awards letter. What's that? Right? If you earn Social Security income, you are issued a Social Security awards letter once per year. Chances are, that piece of mail could be buried in a pod storage locker somewhere. It's not something you probably hang on to. So what you could do is you could just Google Social Security awards letter, just like that. And you see right here, the website ssa.gov is how you can get it. And so boom, you go right here, create your account. And it takes just a couple of minutes, create an account, boom, boom, boom. You just go through and create an account just right here. Information you will need. You must have all this information. And it is highly illegal for me to create an account for you. So even though your mortgage broker, loan officer probably has all of this information, it's incredibly illegal. So we just don't do it because I don't really want to go to jail. I don't have time for that. So let's keep on moving through. Okay, earnest money. So back to the bank statement, or back to the bank account, online banking right here. Earnest money is usually paid when you go under a real estate contract. Usually give some form of earnest deposit money as negotiated per the terms of the contract. So typically you just write a check for that. And you give it to the real estate agent, and they probably deposit that into a secure escrow. Now, that earnest money acts as sort of like a pre-down payment, so to speak. So what happens from an underwriting standpoint is that check that you wrote now is part of your real estate transaction. So that means it's part of your bank account, and we need to evidence that money was not laundered somehow, some way, and that it's actually compliant funds. Now, there was a couple bad guys, a couple places along the way. They laundered some money through the real estate market, and now we have all these kind of anti-money laundering rules, guidelines, and regulations that need to be adhered to. So a canceled check, a lot of people don't know what a canceled check is. It's not something you'd ever use unless you're applying for a mortgage, pretty much. But look, we've got a check right here. I'm currently not able to show image. I don't know what's going on with this. Let me see if I can fix that. Bear with me just a second, guys. It'll be worth it because eventually, you're going to learn how to submit all these documents, and it'll be a one-way ticket to the promised land and get you into your nice new home. So let's see if re-logging in helped accomplish any of that. So click on the checking account right there and check image. All right, now what do we do? We've got that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click print. But wait, maybe you don't have a printer. Oh, how do we do that? Well, you're going to learn. So what you could do is when you click to print right there, it's going to give you all the pages and everything that we would need. So a lot of times you might be it might be defaulted to wanting to print to a printer. However, like I said before, 2020, everything's digital. I don't really use printers anymore. So save as PDF, just like that. And by the way, too, these advanced options, you want to make sure the headers and footers are checked and enabled. See these footers right here, and the headers, like the dates and stuff at the top. We'll make sure that those are enabled. If they're not enabled, a lot of times this will result in being a non-compliant document. So save as PDF, or you might have like a print to PDF or something like that. Either way, we just PDF that puppy and click save, just like that. That's going to see where do we want to put it. We'll put it on the desktop. Search for loan docs. That's the folder that we just created. Cancel check. Earnest money deposit, EMD. We have acronyms for everything in the mortgage. So there we go. Now we've shown the canceled check for the earnest deposit money coming out of the bank account. Now, a lot of times with that canceled check, so let's say you go ahead and you put a house under contract with your real estate agent. You get an offer accepted. Yay. Let's say they all signed the contract on, it's February 7th right here. So maybe it was February 1st that they signed the contract and you gave them the earnest check, right? But then they got to cash it. You know, somebody needs to deposit that check in order for then it to morph into canceled check status. So what we do is we need to then evidence that money coming out of your bank account. So the way to do that is to, remember on the bank account right there, we need a transaction history, right? So, you know, it doesn't say transaction history. It doesn't say print transaction history anywhere like that. So here's the easiest way to do it. Just be on the screen right here and on your keyboard, push Control P. Boom. That's going to initiate a PDF print. So what you have to do again is make sure the destination is save as PDF, just like this. And then make sure the headers and footers are enabled. And here it's even still got the cancel check popped up and open. So it'll give you the transaction history for a whole bunch of days. Sometimes you have special options where you could filter by a certain date range or something like that. That might be applicable if we're trying to show, like, let's say your bank statement ended on, you know, I don't know, January 31st, that bank statement ended. We want to show this canceled check because maybe it just came out, you know, 3 days ago or something. We would want to show the transaction history from the end of your last bank statement, which is January 31st, up through today's date, most likely, so that we could show that money coming out of the account. Or maybe if you're doing gift funds or something like that, then maybe somebody's giving you gift funds so that you could purchase the home. You would need to show a transaction history of your account and possibly the donor's account as well, so that we can paper trail all of the funds. So we click save because it's PDF print. It's still defaulted to my loan docs folder, which is just wonderful. We've got transaction history. Boom, done. That's transaction history. Super easy. Now, now that I re-signed in, let's see, I'll get the bank statements. There they are. All right. So we've got the January bank statement. Click. And you hover up in the top of the screen right there. Download. You don't have to alter it. You don't even have to look at it. January statement. Now, we typically do always need 2 months bank statements. So we'll go back and get whatever the next one is. Bank statement, download. December bank statement, save it to the special folder. Boom, done. Bank statements, 2 months, in and out. We got them just like that. So that is how we get those. And now let's say hopefully you know, you don't have any bankruptcy, short sales, foreclosures, deed in lieu of foreclosure, anything like that. Hopefully you know, that's not what we're needing to provide. In the event that there is some kind of public record, you know, maybe a divorce decree, public record, tax lien satisfaction, something like that. You know, a lot of those things do get recorded at the government level. So you click right here. I'll give you this website in the video description, public records, but we can go to South Carolina, you know, wherever you are, you know, York County. And here we go. We've got all these different places that you can go to. So, you know, this is just a cool resource because it allows you to kind of search, you know, countrywide. Maybe you need a tax bill for a property that you own. You know, we need to provide the tax bill. And this site is like littered with ads. I mean, there's advertisements everywhere on it. But I don't know, it is what it is. But you can go here and you can find public record information. So super cool information, guys. A lot of people really have trouble finding where all these things exist on the internet. So this is just a couple, you know, a couple of ways to, you know, provide some of this information that we will need for underwriting. and it's super compliant, all pages, all schedules, full complete PDF format, beautiful documents for an excellent loan submission. And I think I said earlier I was going to give an excellent credit tip that you could take advantage of as well. If you do have limited credit history, right? So what you could do is boost. You have limited credit history, or you just want to get some extra stuff reporting to your credit, you can go here to Experian Boost. It's completely free to use. I think anybody that's with fairly new credit should probably take advantage of this because it's going to help bolster up your credit score. So what this Experian Boost does is it reports different things that that occur in your life. It reports them to your credit report that where otherwise they would not probably be reported. So we're talking like utility bills, phone bills, bank account information, just really anything positive. It only reports positive stuff, which is great. And it just puts it onto your credit report to give you more depth of credit right here. So it's totally free. And so you start, and it takes probably just a couple minutes to go through and you just put in some information about yourself, and then it'll boost up and report things to your credit. So then this other thing that's really cool, once you, actually anytime you apply for any kind of credit, what happens is the junk mail, seems to like really pile up and come in large loads. So what you could do is, and this is a service that's actually endorsed by the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. So they say if you don't want to receive these unsolicited solicitations for credit, what you can do is you can opt out. So you got to go to this opt out pre-screen right here, and you can read about it a little bit, but I highly recommend it. I did this a while ago, and it's amazing. I don't get any more solicitations for 33% interest rate personal loans from One Main Financial. I don't get any of that junk anymore. So it's just great, and it's good for the environment too. But it's good for you. You don't want your personal identity stuff out there in the world on mailing lists and things where you could just be spammed to death. So you can opt in if you want, but definitely opt out. I did it for 5 years. Or you can opt out by mail if you want, but I would recommend the electronic option right there. So, and then last but not least, after you do that, it'll take you to the next screen where you can input some information. Last but not least, if you are looking to build your credit, there's this service. This is pretty new, just came out. Looks like they've got a Valentine's Day special or something. It's called rentreporters.com. So here you can get your on-time rent payments reported to your credit report. So Equifax and TransUnion are the two bureaus that looks like you can, they're supported through Rent Reporters, and they can get up to a 24-month rental history reporting to your credit. So if you do the Experian Boost and you do the Rent Reporters right here, now there's a small fee for this, but it's probably worth it to boost your credit score in any way possible. You're right, you always want to have the best credit score humanly possible, but you can get 24 months of on-time rent payments reported to your credit report. So that's pretty neat. A lot of times you can get your scores increased and be eligible for increased credit lines. If you increase your credit line, a lot of times your credit score will go up as well. And whether these things impact your mortgage credit score in the immediate time frame, is probably fairly unlikely, because chances are we've already pulled it and we really don't want to pull it again while we're in process for the most part. But for your benefit for the long term, these are some really cool things that you can take advantage of. So you can get started right there, and they'll contact your landlord, whether it's Uncle Bob or that you lease from like an apartment company, like a management company or something like that. They'll contact them and then get your on-time rent payments reported to the credit. And you can actually do it on a forward moving basis as well. So there's some features in here where you can get your ongoing rental payments reported. And so they say it could increase your score up to 40 points. Now, they might report on a different bureau level than what we use for mortgage. But a lot of times with mortgages, when you're just establishing credit, you do want to have a history like a 2-year nice history of on-time payments on your credit report. So a lot of times this can help satisfy that trade line requirement. So there's a number of services that can actually do this as well. Rental Karma. .com is another one. Rentalkarma.com is they only report to TransUnion, is my understanding. So there's a lot of different ways, but sometimes one might work, the other one might not work, or whatever. So you can get $25 and refer a friend if you want. But anyways, these are some cool credit tips at the end, so that really a lot of people would probably benefit from doing these things if they just did them, as a consumer. Whether you're buying a house or not, that would be kind of cool that you could just boost your credit score. So that's how we provide documents. Thanks for watching, guys. Mortgage broker Mike here at Movement Bank. And of course, very important to note, we are an equal housing lender, and my NMLS ID number is 1683075. So if you want to apply for a mortgage, go to mortgagebrokermike.com. I'd be happy to take care of you guys right away. Thanks again. Have a great day.